Let's get this over with. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's the thrill of one more kill, the last one to fall. We'll never sacrifice their will. Don't ever look back on the closing. Be on the attack with your wings of the wind. All the victory begins. In the sweet, sweet, sweet victory. It's ours for the taking. It's ours for the fight. In the sweet.
Why was your face so close to, like, what'd you do there?
Oh, sorry. I just had to fix my camera.
You just had to.
I'm sorry. Jeez.
Okay. Anyways, welcome back to Fourth String. My name is Stud, here with my co-host, who just so happens to be my bestest friend. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing pretty good, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, I to be honest, I'm refreshed, and here's why. It's pretty huge
Can you
holiday.
tell us why?
Yeah, pretty huge holiday. Some would say it's as important as Christmas. Some would say it's more important than President's Day. It is opening day. It is
Yeah, buddy.
Major League Baseball's opening day, and I will be in attendance. Probably hammered. You know, it's just we're all the way back. I mean, we're back.
Yeah. I gave
Sports
up
are
on
back.
going to opening day games just because I don't remember them anyway. So it's like, what's the point? But
Yeah.
I am a little jealous that you're going. Interested to hear how you think it is with 25% capacity. But
Yeah, it shall be interesting having to have on a face mask the entire time,
that kinda
especially.
blows.
Well, I mean, it'll be fine because I can hide my how
Triple
how
chin?
drunk I am,
Oh, well,
which
or that. Yeah.
which will probably be a quadruple by the time I'm hammered.
Whoops.
So we'll just
Sorry.
Yeah. So, anyways, we'll just kind of see how shit. To be honest, I might not even end up inside. Who knows? We're just gonna kind of see what happens. But yeah, no. So pretty huge holiday. So because of not being able to physically record the show on Thursday, here we are.
Love it. Let's dive in.
Oh, one more thing. A small part of why we're doing this so early, small part, is because the merch is still 15% off.
Yes, sir.
Still 50% off until Friday. You have until Friday.
I mean, hey, why would you pay full price when you don't have to, right?
No, I wouldn't.
Seems pretty stupid.
Yeah. It just kind of sucks if you're us because the two of us have to pay.
I mean, hey,
full
I'm
price.
okay with it because it's a good cause, so it's it's whatever. Plus, I actually do like the stuff. It turned out all right.
Yeah.
Side note: if anybody has any specific things that maybe they don't like about the current merch, or maybe something that they want to add as like a new top item or something like that, DM me or DM any one of our socials, and we can get it going for you. So it's really easy to make changes and would be happy to do it for you. So just let us know.
We're here to please. That's why we're here. We are pleasurable men. So
Pleasurable.
yeah. So anyways, you have some pretty interesting topics. Bud, how about you pick what we go into first?
Well, you brought up opening day, so I guess let's just start there.
Right,
You know, we
let's do
talked
it.
a little bit about it last week, but you know, now that it is the current week, what are you feeling about the Brewers? I honestly like looking at it from top to bottom. It's like, this actually could be a team to be feared in the NL. So I'm excited for the Brewers. I'm excited for baseball. I hope that the things of COVID kind of slowly deteriorate as the season goes on, which I think they will. I think you'll start seeing capacities get bigger. You'll start seeing less masks, and you'll start seeing away fans as well. You know, so
Yeah.
hoping for it. I myself am trying to get vaccinated, so I think the more people that get vaccinated, the faster, the better it's going to be for sports and really just our society as a whole. So
Yeah.
for it.
I mean, obviously, if you're able to just get the shot, obviously I'm trying, but I mean, I'm not a first responder. I'm not a person of importance. I'm just a simple labor type working man.
Well,
So
actually,
we'll see
the
what happens with.
the next like current group up is actually over 25% BMI, which I mean, I'm a healthy dude. I'm in decent shape and I'm still at like 28%.
So you call me fat.
I did not say those words. I did not. Those words did not come out of my mouth.
Well, I mean, hey, if it's offered to me, hey, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm gonna take it. I'll
Yeah,
whatever
go for it.
takes off the match sooner. Anyways, yeah, just kind of seeing this lineup from top to bottom. It's
nice,
sexy.
right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just a sexy lineup. Don't. All right, so is the DH in the NL for sure out? Look that they have
As of right now, yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right. So that obviously is our only kind of flaw here because we do obviously have 4 starter quality outfielders.
Mhm.
Obviously, you have to have a spot for Igeli. And outside of that, it's just whoever's hot, I guess. Maybe
Well, I mean,
like
I would say
that's really the only question mark in this
yeah.
lineup that I see here is the other 3 outfielders fighting
Mhm.
over 2 spots.
Well, I mean, I would say that, you know, probably going to get the least amount of playing time would be Locane. I love him, but he's older.
so?
He's
Yeah, that's
yeah.
what I guess.
I think his bat isn't as good. His glove is still outstanding, but I mean, it's not like those other guys don't have a good glove. You know, I mean, they're all pretty solid outfielders. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if
I'm
Locane
about to
really
say.
provides the bat that like an Avi Garcia does. You know, so it's like
Yeah, that's for sure.
it's tough.
Kind of have to have uh Avi in there for the
Mhm.
offense. And that honestly, in my mind, I'm thinking it's between Locane and JBJ for kind of that third spot. It's whoever's hottest at the plate.
Which I
because
just feel
obviously-
like over a long term of a season, I think JBJ is going to give you better numbers. At least now. That wasn't
yeah.
normally the case, but at least right now.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Sabe, especially because Kane was an opt out partially through the season. I
Yep.
know the team's been playing pretty solid in spring, but as Yelly said on the Mike pod that we've mentioned obviously several times, spring is totally different. It says the same name on the pack, but like these pitchers don't care if you hit them for 450 to center field. I mean,
Right. They're working on
obviously
stuff
trying
too.
to figure out some shit. So it's
Mhm.
like, okay, the spring is solid, but can you transition that to the regular season? And yeah, so outside of those kind of two spots between those two dudes, I mean, I love our lineup. Obviously, the only defensive maybe question mark is first place for a Hero, but I mean, he's too hot of a bat to
Right.
not put in.
Well, no, honestly, I feel like
lineup.
Kira he's just an athlete, so I think he'll
yeah.
be just fine.
Mhm.
Plus, let's be real. How many balls per game would you say get hit to first base as it is?
Yeah, it's a
One, maybe
handful.
two a game.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, having an experienced first baseman that can, well, I haven't experienced, but like a tall and lengthy first baseman. Obviously, he isn't very tall, but
I feel like that's kind of overrated.
yeah, I mean, it's a nice perk, but it isn't very necessary. So
Yeah.
I feel as if he'll fit in just fine. And even if he does have any issues, I mean, that there's Fogel Park to take over.
You mean Gorilla
for-
back?
Hey, I mean, dude,
Basically the size of a gorilla.
that dude, hey, he can hit him far, and I'm sure that he can put up about
I bet
500 on the bench.
I bet his BMI is over 25%.
I'm sure. Hey, you know what? He's on that field, and the two of us aren't.
Yeah, true.
It don't matter what his BMI is.
I'm not making fun of him, but he
Yeah, I
is a
know.
large dude.
He is a big boy, but yeah, I love this lineup. I think as long as Omar Narvaez can keep hitting how he's been hitting, and maybe Luis finds some power.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't really see any flaws.
No, there's really not.
I mean, from top to bottom, it's pretty nice.
yeah, it is for sure.
Yes, so I'm excited, and I was actually talking to a regular listener of the show prior to this, and we were kind of talking some Brewers, and he was saying how this is probably the first season that the Brewers have had probably like just a quality from 1 to 5 rotation.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
we could, to be honest, our rotation is probably the best in the Central, and it's probably top, maybe 3, 4, 5 in the NL.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, this
Well,
is the first.
He must
What?
be a pretty consistent listener because that's exactly what I said last week.
Yeah. I mean, it's super nice to have a good rotation. The only maybe possible liability could be Freddie, but even if he is one, put him in the bullpen and you have Josh Lindblom fill that spot.
Well, I mean,
Like, just
and
a
in
depth
reality,
of our bullpen.
in
is
reality,
insane.
there's no team really in the NL that's going to have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 rotation of just
Oh yeah.
like perfection. Like, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. So usually your 1 and 2 are obviously all right, they're on the hill. We got a really good chance to win today. Your 3 guy is solid. He's going to give you some good outings. But then it's usually your 4 and your 5 who are it's like, okay. He's on the hill. I like it, but
Probably have to have an
No.
offensive night.
right.
Tonight.
We're gonna need
Yeah.
we're gonna need some runs tonight, So
Yeah.
I mean but that's the beauty of a good depthful bullpen, So
Yeah.
which we definitely have.
Which we have, and I mean, it's obviously it's Heist, we've mentioned having probably the top two, I'd say 8 and 9 inning pitchers out there in the entire MLB.
Oh, for sure.
That's safe to say. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, on paper, this is probably our best team that we've had ever. Outside of 82.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
probably up for debate.
I mean, it's a warm kind of take. It isn't hot, but it's heating up a little bit. For sure, the hottest team was obviously 2018. I don't think a team that we'll ever have can ever be hotter than that. But past overall, spot 1 to spot 25, whatever it is,
Mhm.
I think on paper this is our most solid team that we've had probably in a long time.
Yeah.
So it obviously but also that kind of sucks because now you see that you have some expectations. It's like, hey, we could turn this into something. And then October comes, and I mean, we're probably in it, but it's like, okay, who's gonna send us home crying
Right.
this year?
Well, yeah, I mean that's why I hate being a Wisconsin sports fan most of the time. I mean, I love all the players that we have and things like that, but it's like, oh my God. I lately could be me just maturing a little bit. I don't know. But lately I've really struggled with kind of the Wisconsin sports teams, just organizations as a whole. And kind of some of the decisions that they've made. I would honestly say that the Brewers and Bucks are doing a better job than the Packers are.
That's
Not to say that any
fair.
one of the three are just making like, oh my God, you're so dumb moves or lack of moves or anything like that. But it's just kind of, they're not making the moves that I think they need to win championships, and like, I think the Brewers this year finally have really truly tried to go all in a little bit.
Yeah.
And getting some free agents, things like that. Even their draft, I think, was solid. That Garrett Mitchell is going to be a stud in a few years. I mean,
you'll probably see him in September and a couple of seasons. Yeah,
definitely.
sure.
And especially if he just tears it up in the lower levels. I mean, he could be up real quick. I think it's kind of just up to him as far as, like how well he plays, how well he adapts to, everyday baseball life, things like that. So, I think the Brewers are trying to make that turn as being, I don't want to say a dynasty, because I feel like you got to get rings and things like that in order to be classified as a dynasty. But as far as a contender and a constant contender, they're right there, and I mean, the Bucks the other night, the Bucks were completely depleted. They had nobody. No Giannis, no Chris, no Drew, no Dante.
No,
that's 4 of your 5 starters.
No Bobby Portis, no PJ Tucker.
I wasn't even looking at the bench, but you had 4 of your 5 starters out, and they still competed. I mean, granted, it was the Knicks, and the Knicks aren't great,
but I mean,
they're above 500 too.
They're a
so I mean, it's like
team right now,
right? So I mean, like
in the playoffs.
you're gonna go to war against a playoff team like that. I mean, there's something to be said about, kind of who you have on your squad at that point. So
yeah,
that was a fun game to watch. Thanasis he's got some skills.
Showed out. Yeah. To be honest, I didn't watch the first part just because everybody was out, so I was expecting it to be kind of ugly. But as soon as it got down to the final, couple of minutes, I was like, all right, like I'm gonna turn this on, and I turned it on, and I saw the ending, and it was a nice fight, and only lose by 6 could have been even last if it wasn't for a late foul.
Well, and honestly, if you have really any one of your starters, whether it's Giannis, Chris, Drew, or Dante, you have any one of those four, maybe even adding Bobby Portis into that lineup, you're probably going to win that game. I mean, the energy that they came out with was just awesome. And honestly, I'm really excited for what Jordan Nwora brings to the Bucks. That dude can shoot. That's pretty exciting. He's got a
nice
jumper.
filler player. Today, actually, I just saw this on my phone. I had a little ESPN thing pop up that the Bucks are signing Jeff Teague. They're signing him.
I didn't see that.
Okay.
Are they going after Austin Rivers? I saw rumors about that they were the front runner.
I saw that too. I'm not sure.
Okay.
The only for sure thing I saw was that we signed Jeff Teague. So he'll be a nice
I like that.
backup for obviously for Drew. We've seen him a few times when we faced the Celtics. He looked obviously
well, and even early on in his career, he was with the Hawks, right? Early on when he was like in his prime. Yeah, I mean he's a solid player, and honestly, in all of sports, there's just no. I mean, you just can't explain how effective a veteran presence like that can be in any sport. Basketball, baseball, football, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Kind of
having those guys who have been there is big. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, but now the real question is, can that addition plus the PJ addition be enough to get past Brooklyn?
Well, look, the NBA is, pardon my French, but the NBA is fucked. Like, and they can get fucked because how the NBA is allowing for Brooklyn to just take whoever they want, essentially, even before they're not allowed, and just, oh yeah, sure, you can go there, that's fine. But when the Bucks do it, they lose draft pick for it.
Yeah, and well, no, that was for
Drummond with the
tampering.
Lakers, but
I was about to say, like, how can the
because the Lakers are doing it too.
Clearly tamper, and they don't have anything. And then the Bucks with Bogdan, which fuck him because he didn't end up signed here anyways. But we get traffic is taken like
it's
what is that?
Not even
like it's obviously kind of outrageous. I'm sure there's some half-ass explanation, but I mean, obviously, it isn't anything that is logical or sensible. But back to
the
Brooklyn.
Stupid thing.
What?
Back to Brooklyn, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
The stupid thing about it, Blake Griffin, I think he tweeted or maybe he said it in a post-game interview or something. I don't even know, but I saw it on Twitter. He said, "Since I joined Brooklyn, people look at me different." Yeah, they look at you like you're an idiot and a joke because before people had respect for you. You tried to do it on your own. You tried to like maybe add another piece or two, not go join an all-star team and be like, "Oh yeah, I hope that team win." No, you're the sixth man because they got 5 all-stars starting already.
Yeah.
So like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to swear on this, but get fucked.
Well, plus also, I mean, I feel like Brooklyn kind of was just looking for like maybe a scary team because Marcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin, to be honest, don't really help out Brooklyn a ton. They don't really fit the spots that they need.
I mean, they kind of do though, because you figure you got Kyrie or Harden at the 1, the other at the 2, so Harden or Kyrie at the 2.
I would have to
3,
check
you
with-
got Joe Harris, who's a
they're not even
flamethrower.
starting. But they're not even this starters. I just I have to find their like actual starting lineup, but they when I saw it, whether it was Facebook or ESPN or whatever, they weren't even in the starting 5 for their potential playoff
Right.
5. They were off the bench role.
That's because you don't need all of them on the court at once. Because once KD gets healthy, you're gonna have Kyrie, Harden, and KD on the floor at once. You definitely, and then probably throw in like Joe Harris or DeAndre Jordan or whatever slouches that aren't slouches
Yeah.
in there, and it won't even matter because with those 3 on the court, it's unbelievable. Harden is playing out of his mind. Kyrie's just being Kyrie, and you got to assume that KD is going to come back pretty strong. So it's like the Nets are going to be stupid. The only way the Nets lose, and you can quote me on this, only way the Nets lose is if they don't have the like camaraderie. You know, once they start playing good teams like the Bucks, like the Celtics, like the Sixers, those other good teams in the East, if you aren't on the same page, you'll lose.
So you're
because
kind of
you're
comparing
not
them
playing-
to those old Lob City
Clippers.
had like
Kind of.
CP3, Blake Griffin, JJ, DeAndre, just that super team that was actually all in their prime and
Well, and
should have
honestly,
won
that
one.
wasn't even as much of a super team as the Nets are right now. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a super team for sure, but it's not as bad as what the Nets have just formed. But the thing with that is they were kind of like how the Bucks have been the past couple of years. Great, and I mean great, historical, like just unbelievable teams in the regular season. They hit playoffs and they start playing really good defense, they fade because they get flustered, they get double teamed, they get trapped, different things that throw them off that they're not used to.
The rotations are
Yeah,
shorter, obviously.
Rotations
and,
are different and rotations are better. You know, so it's like you're not playing against Minnesota anymore because the Timberwolves are not good. You're
No,
playing
it won't
against
be.
you're playing against teams like the Bucks, who they've game planned for you. They've figured out kind of how to try and at least slow down your spinning wheel. You know, so it's like I think that's the only way that Brooklyn loses. Other than that, if they can figure it out and gel as a team, which as of right now they've done, and Harden has, I mean, he's turned into a better player than I thought he could be just because he averages like 12, 13 assists right now. I mean,
Yeah,
which
it's,
is unbelievable. I was worried about
Uh,
him passing the ball.
yeah. I mean, it's just not the team that you don't want to play in the
No.
playoffs.
I don't want to at all.
That's just kind of that team today. You hope someone else gets
Knocks 'em
hot and can somehow upset them.
Right.
Like say the Heat just get hot and that take them down, but then it's like, okay, now we're playing a hot Miami. Well, this ain't really any easier now. Like it's obviously the playoffs is a whole new atmosphere, and you just but to be honest, I would rather play a hot Heat team than a Brooklyn at all. Just because of the
I'd
fact,
probably agree with that. Yeah.
yeah.
I think we
It's-
match up better with Miami a little bit too.
So do I. And sure, the Celtics have taken 2 of 3 this seasons so far, But first off, they shouldn't have taken that first one. That was a god awful, lucky ass shot by Tatum the first game.
Right.
So it very easily could be 2-1 Hawks in the season's series. Sure, this past game they kind of got they took one from us. Fair enough. That'll happen.
Yeah.
But like it should be 2-1, or it could be 2-1. Obviously,
Right.
flopped how it is. So obviously, you have the Celtics. I would much rather play the Celtics
Right.
than the Heat, probably, or Brooklyn. And then there's always Philly, who they aren't any slouches either. And I mean, it's sucks because I feel bad for like Charlotte, who's in the playoffs. I feel bad for the Knicks, who are in the playoffs. It's like, hey, those are two young teams that are actually pretty solid, but they just got a four-headed just beast ahead of them. Just
And you could honestly say 5-headed. I mean,
who's the fifth?
it doesn't matter. I mean, Brooklyn is so stacked that it like you could throw
there's
any one of them.
Brooklyn, Milwaukee, Philly, Boston.
You were talking about team wise. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking about like if those teams had to go up against Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Like I feel bad for him at that point because it's like, oh, cool, we made the playoffs to get bounced by a super team in the first round. Sick.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome.
You know, I like Charlotte. They got a pretty nice team over there. It's just they just have to run into that buzzsaw of either Philly or Brooklyn or the Bucks and possibly the Celtics, even though Charlotte's ahead of this Celtics at the moment. But come playoff time, I'm taking this Celtics over Charlotte.
At that point, it comes down to experience a little bit too. You know, the Celtics have
which
been
obviously, and but yeah, no, I feel bad for the Knicks and for Charlotte, and I don't even know who else is in there. Is it?
It don't matter. They're going to be gone.
Indiana, who knows?
Yeah,
but,
Indiana might slide in. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
anyways,
no, I like that the Bucks are making moves. You know, I kind of mentioned before that, you know, it seems like Wisconsin sports have struggled the past few years in getting guys to come to Milwaukee or Green Bay. Even the Badgers, you know, getting guys recruited to the Badgers, that type of thing. You know, it's not a total hot spot to come and play, you know, but
really not.
I think they're doing better because of the MVPs that we have on these rosters.
Yeah.
You know, so it's becoming an easier thing, but you know, I think when it comes down to it, they just need to figure it out because I'm getting so tired of watching all of these MVPs just be wasted and get no championships.
Yeah,
because that's what you're judged on nowadays. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, they do.
It doesn't matter if Yelly hits 400 for the next 8 seasons he's with us. It doesn't matter if Giannis averages 35 a game for the next 5 seasons. It doesn't matter if Aaron Rodgers wins the next 4 MVPs. They're judged on rings.
Yeah.
Because that's what makes you the GOAT.
All right, there's one exception to that, and I'm glad that because this is a perfect transition. There's one person who can have 0 championships at the end of his career and 99.9% still probably be seen as the greatest to ever play his sport. Mike Trout. He's probably one of the only guys who will ever, if he gets 0 championships, be like, hey, it don't fucking matter that he was on a shitty Angels team. he is the best player to ever
I think-
live it.
It's tough to argue that. I think the only thing you could really say is you have to watch the remainder of his career, you know, and kind of how he finishes out. Because right now he's not
He's
there.
obviously
He's best player in
obviously
the
on
game right
pace.
now.
He's
Yes.
on pace to be
Mhm.
probably the best ever.
Right. But to
he's
go and
obvious-
say right now when he has multiple years left to just say he's the best ever now, you can't.
Oh,
It's too soon.
for sure.
Does he have that potential? Absolutely.
Granted, even if he retired now, he's a Hall of Famer.
Mhm.
Well, that isn't happening.
Right.
But no, this is a perfect transition because I saw this article. I wanted your opinion on it. I saw an article that says that can one of these new young hot talents / superstars dethrone Mike Trout as the best player in baseball? They're referring to Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, Mookie Betts, Iggy, just like all these superstar players. And my quick opinion on it is not a chance. As far as talent wise, he's got them all beat tenfold. Now, excitement, yes, I find more excitement watching a Fernando Tatis 3-0 grand slam to turn a blowout into a benches clearing brawl. It's kind of fun to watch
Sure.
Juan Soto take someone 500 feet to the third deck and then hold the bat to first base. Like that's fun. Look, that's just
Sure.
that's an exciting feature of baseball. But you won't ever see that with Trout because he's just such a calm, cool, like, hey, I just hit a ball 480.
Mhm.
Fuck it, I'm gonna just
Right.
run the paces and then that's it.
Mhm.
So I can see how he isn't very exciting to watch, even though I find 480 home runs exciting to see, and he hits
Right.
a ton of those. But I can see the case for exciting as far as best player in baseball. Not a chance.
Well, okay. So what? I'm sorry. Can you repeat what the question of this was?
The question was, is there anybody that can quote unquote dethrone Mike Trout as the best player in baseball? And if there is, why / how?
I mean, honestly, I don't think you can really say a name of anybody. I mean, Tatis is going into what, year 3 now? Technically, you could make a case for year 2 because last year was like half a year. So it's like you absolutely have to cross him off at least right now because
Yeah.
he has not had the like income of numbers. So he's off. Soto, kind of same thing. I mean, the biggest thing is longevity. How long can you maintain numbers like that? If Yelly went on an absolute tear like he did those 2 MVP seasons, in my opinion, MVP seasons,
Oh, yeah.
he does that for the next 8 years in Milwaukee and then maybe signs another contract, does it for another 2 or 3 after that or similar. Yeah, he'd probably be above Trout at that point. But the fact of the matter is, to do that consistently for that long in the MLB is practically unheard of. And that's why I think Trout, by the end of his career, should he continue on this pace, he will be the greatest ever or in that conversation because he's just been doing it for a while now. And like you said, it's almost boring how good he is. I mean, he just continues to like wow you with how good he is. and people don't really recognize it. It's kind of like Giannis with basketball. Giannis, in my opinion, at least right now, should be in the conversation of like being MVP again for the third year in a row. He's not even in the top 7 of some of these so-called experts because what? Because he's won it the past 2 years and they don't want to give him a third because the Bucks maybe aren't as good of a team as they've been. It's garbage. So I don't know. I mean, for me with baseball, the most crucial thing is longevity, and it's hard to really analyze who's going to be the greatest ever when honestly, these dudes are still young. They got a good life of baseball left to them.
I see what you're saying, but that kind of isn't the question. The question was today. Today, like in like this kind of like season, next season, in like in the present to recent future, not recent future, in the upcoming near future. Can someone overtake Trout, even though Trout is still in his prime and playing how he is? Can someone?
Okay, then I'm not really understanding because obviously every year there's a different MVP. If Trout was the best, like he would just be MVP every year, but he's not because there are guys who maybe have better seasons.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's all about longevity.
He has been top 3 all but
Right.
I think what 1 or 2 every year. And he's on what MVP at least 3 for a fact, I know. Maybe 4, I don't know. But yeah, so it's like can one of these younger dudes kind of overtake him as like the best player in baseball, like while Trout is still performing at the way that he's performing? Which, in my opinion,
the easy answer to that is no. I mean, I think they can compete as far as 40 home run seasons or certain number of RBIs in a year, things like that. I think those dudes can compete for sure. They've done it. Can they do it every year like he's done? Probably not.
Yeah,
I mean, we've seen it kind of with Yelly. Like Yelly had a rough year last year.
He did.
But like I think he'll bounce back. I mean, can Tatis go from being this just mega speculated all-star just phenom like he was last year to maybe he has an off year this year in a full 162? I mean, you just don't know. I mean, it's so speculative.
Yeah. And I mean, it also is tough, but also like that. I love how you said that the easy answer is no, because that just kind of shows the kind of ridiculousness to the article, because it was like, okay, like we all know what the answer is, but you are clearly writing this article.
It's clickbait. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just clickbait to have schmucks such as the two of us talk about it. But we talked about it, and I don't even know who wrote it. So sorry, dude, you failed because you didn't.
Yeah, he's probably a clown.
Get the source. But anyways, another. I also love how you said that Giannis should be in the conversation for back-to-back. In my opinion, as far as the NBA goes, because it's tough to do this for football and baseball, just because it's kind of totally different as far as sports and types of like kind of seasons that each sport has.
Sure.
As far as the NBA MVP, in my opinion, it should be the MVP of the prior season's award to lose. Meaning that
I would agree with that. Yeah.
if he does not perform to essentially similar to his last season, unless there's someone who's just like, oh, okay, like yes, player X, who was last season's MVP, is playing the same, but player Y is clearly having a better season. Okay, yes, they overtook the throne of MVP. But if it's a tight race,
Right.
like it is, it should be the I'm sorry, but like last year's MVP should kind of be like, hey, it's his award to
I can
lose.
see that.
It's tight.
The way I try to look
should
at
be
it,
his.
the way I try to look at it is, it's most valuable player, right? That's what MVP stands for. So it's like,
Yes.
my thinking on it is you do have to look at team record. I think that obviously is a part of it, but I think you need to look at it as if you plucked a player off the team. So for example, you take Giannis off the Bucks. What's the Bucks record going to be?
They're probably a 7 or an 8 seed.
Okay, so you think they make the playoffs?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
They would for sure, with Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Dante. They're for sure a playoff team, but they're a Charlotte type team.
Right.
Where
Okay.
it's like, hey,
I like that. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for showing up, but you play the
So then
Sixers in the first round. Have fun.
So then another example, you take a front runner for the MVP this year. You take James Harden off the Nets. What are they doing? They're probably still the 1 seed.
I'm about to say they're a 3 seed at the lowest in my opinion.
That's my point.
Yeah.
You take Embiid out of the Sixers. They're slowly starting to come down a little bit with him out.
But
that's how I look at MVP.
Yeah.
You take that player, that single one player off the team, or act as if he's not there. What is your record going to be? How well are you going to perform? For the Bucks, they're going way down. Sixers without their big man, Embiid, they're going way down. The Nets without Harden, they're staying probably right where they're at because they still got Kyrie, KD, all these other dudes they just picked up. They're not shifting down at all. Yeah, Harden is playing great. Don't get me wrong. He's putting up sick numbers. But look who he's got around him. Like, of course he's going to have better numbers. Like,
I'm about to say, I'm not surprised that he's putting up 13, 14 assists because the dudes he's passing to are hitting their shots.
They're all stars.
More than, well, not only that, but 2 of them are Hall of Famers.
Mm-hmm. Right.
2 of them are clear-cut
easy
Hall of Famers. One is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
They
probably both are, if we're being real. Kyrie's probably not
KD
quite
for
there,
sure.
but
Kyrie probably has to do a couple more seasons before.
By the time he's done, he'll probably be a first ballot.
Oh, for sure. But point is like, hey, I'm passing to a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
I'm passing to another Hall of Famer. I'm passing to a 3-point sharpshooter.
Which the
Joe
crazy
Harris.
thing about it is he hasn't even passed to KD yet. KD hasn't even played.
I know.
So it's like he's passing to these other guys like Joe Harris, who honestly just don't get the recognition like a KD does. But he's still a great player, and he's still a better shooter than anybody that Harden had in Houston.
Yeah.
Other than maybe PJ Tucker when he was in his prime.
CP3,
As far as shooting goes,
CP3,
CP3 is not the shooter like Joe Harris. Not even close.
Not even close. And
I love CP3, but that's
not even disputing
close.
that. I'm even disputing that.
I was talking about just pure shooting.
Oh, all right. Okay. But I was saying that his person he passed to in Houston was probably CP3 and
Well, yeah,
Peter Tucker. Yeah.
and Russ he had. I
Yeah.
mean, but again,
Short
those
amount of
guys are
time.
not shooters. They're not. I mean, they're not just like, oh, I got an open three. I'm going to knock this down. Like, you guys messed up. I mean, Joe Harris is like that. Joe Harris, if you leave him open, he's knocking it down.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a 3-point champion. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like some would put him next to Steph Curry as far as his shooting ability. So
Yeah.
it's like,
I mean, as far as shooters today,
he's
Um,
he's up
yeah.
there with Klay Thompson too. I mean, he's an unbelievable
well,
shooter.
Clay, obviously, yes. It just it sucks that he's obviously
So
as injured
injury-prone.
as he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That obviously sucks because I enjoyed to watch him play, and ever since he,
I know.
got
I want to see
injured,
the
it's just
I want to
like,
see
yeah,
the
it's-
Splash Bros get back to business.
yeah, I do too. Which is kind of hard to, well, not hard to say, but I'm surprised I'm saying it because a couple of seasons ago I was like, "Yo, fuck the Warriors. These guys are too good. Like, I'm sick of this shit." But now that it isn't there, it's like, okay, look, this, like, I kind of want to see that.
Mhm.
Like in my opinion, that's one of those you don't appreciate it until you don't have it anymore,
Facts.
and that's just kind of the
Well, I mean,
perfect
honestly,
example.
that's how humans and just sports fans in general are. I mean, we don't appreciate great things. We don't appreciate greatness. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I don't really relish the true greatness of some of the things that we've seen in our time. For
Yeah.
example, I can't stand Tom Brady. I can't. But one day I'm going to look back when I'm older. I'm going to look back and be like, damn, that dude really did win 7 rings and might win more. Who knows? LeBron. Can't stand that guy really either. I mean, I shouldn't say I can't stand him. You're more the one who hates him. But
Yeah,
like for me, it's the guy is unbelievable. So it's like you almost do have to kind of try to like force yourself to like some of these players that maybe you wouldn't, but you have to respect them at least because their greatness is going to be something that you'll remember, kind of thing. You know, I mean, it's unbelievable what some of these players and teams have done, and you just kind of hate on them for no reason sometimes.
Yeah, and puts you hate on it because it's like, okay, like if you think about it, the seasons that Tom has won the Super Bowl in recent past. Outside of the Super Bowl against the Rams, if the Packers are in the Super Bowl last year, they are beating that Chiefs team because they were so injured. All you had to do was do a pass rush, and you have Patrick Mahomes running for his life.
Mhm.
And then you put up points and you're fine. Super Bowl is ours. Fucking 2014, if that Seattle miracle doesn't happen, Packers are winning that Super Bowl too, in my opinion.
Right.
2016, arguably it'd be a close one. That I think would be a closer Super Bowl as opposed to a 2014 or just a 2014. That'd be closer, but I still think final 2 minutes, Rodgers marches us down and boom, Super Bowl.
Well,
So it's
and I
like,
mean-
okay, I hate this dude because he's taken our championships.
Sure.
He's taken at least 2 of ours.
Mhm.
possibly a third. The only season that we aren't beating them is that Rams
Well, it's
Super Bowl.
it's funny because I just had a conversation with my cousin today about this. And this is kind of what got me fuming a little bit about Wisconsin sports and talking about the Packers specifically. I feel like there's a part of them that's so caught up in the past. Oh, we won the first Super Bowl and we're 13-time world champions and all this stuff. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
And that's coming from probably the biggest
What have
Packer
you done
fan
for me?
you will ever talk to.
What have you done for
Exactly.
me?
Exactly. And I mean,
recently?
yeah, cool. You got 13 titles, but if you don't fix the mistakes that you've been making, you're going to be stuck at 13 for a while, and teams are going to start to overpass you that shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because in reality, you guys majorly fucked up with the two of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, and they only got 2 rings. It's a joke.
And
Figure
then you got one guy who's got 7.
we've played this what if stuff pretty much every week, but you put Aaron Rodgers and he doesn't get drafted by the Packers. He gets drafted by the Patriots. So Tom Brady leaves, whatever. I don't know. You put Aaron Rodgers in that dynasty of a team with the Pats. The amount of rings that he might have won with them is just it makes me sick to my stomach to think about because it's
Can you imagine?
so scary.
Can you imagine if you got Rodgers throwing to Randy Moss?
It would have been stupid. Like seriously.
You got
for
Rodgers
him to
throwing to
have-
Julian Edelman,
Not even the weapons that the Patriots have.
Rob Gronkowski.
Not even the weapons. You give Aaron Rodgers a top 5 defense every year of his career.
Yeah, you got Rodney Harrison, Ty Law,
Dude,
fucking Teddy Bruschi.
He's covered both hands
Mike
with
Vrabel.
rings. Easy.
Shit, I could go on and on and on. with
That's what I'm saying. So that's what
Patriots
pisses me
defensive
off.
guys.
That's what pisses me off because now Aaron Rodgers is scared about being a lame duck. And let me ask you this. Why should he stay?
Why?
Because honestly, if I were Aaron Rodgers, I don't think I would. And again, he's on my wall. I fucking love the guy. But let's be real here. If you already know that you're getting replaced, they got their new guy, their new shiny car, their new girlfriend, mistress, whatever, we talked about it last week. Why would I stay? I don't have to. I'm not required to stay here. The players have shown in the league what their power is. And I would say that Aaron Rodgers is in the driver's seat.
Granted, you are under contract, but at the
That
same
doesn't
point,
matter anymore.
Yeah, but at the same point, it's like, okay, look, why am I paying you 33 and a half to
You can't
to
force
s-
me to play.
to sit down? Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, coach, my knee hurts. Or maybe my head hurts from the embarrassment
I mean,
that
if he's
you
doing
guys
that,
have put in front of me every year.
I mean, the only thing I can see is if he does that, he's maybe potentially, and I mean, even this is up for debate too. He might be kind of hurting his legacy because he didn't like push through to the end, like a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady is, or a John Elway. He's kind of fading like on purpose. So like, okay, that just kind of more fuel for someone to hate on him in the
Almost
greatest of all time conversation, even though he's already hated on a ton. So I can see maybe that being an issue, just kind of like a quote unquote football social issue, for lack of a better term. But other than that, why? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
Okay,
don't know
but
why he would stay.
almost all the quarterbacks that you could put in the top conversation, they've all been with other teams too. Brady, Montana, Manning,
Hey,
Breeze, Favre. What? What you don't hear anything about their legacy being tarnished because they won with another team.
Oh,
That's not a thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm not saying because they
Elway
won
is
with
one of
their
the
team.
only guys I can think of that like actually stayed his entire career with
Yeah.
one team in the Broncos.
I'm not saying
I mean,
he's tarnished because he won with someone else. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying if he pulled the old, hey, I can't play, my head hurts, my knee hurts. If he pulls that out, okay, yeah, they could probably throw up some red flags, so to say.
if that's what he's got to do to get himself out of kind of a shitty situation, I wouldn't blame him. I really wouldn't. And
Okay,
again, that's
so
coming
then-
from a diehard Packer fan.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if say he does say, you know what, fuck it, it's clear, you guys don't come anymore. You
Mhm.
guys are eyeing that $2 million buyout. I don't want to push through.
Right.
with
Why
that.
wait?
Trade me now, but I have a no trade clause, which essentially says I'm only accepting where I want to go, and if you don't trade me to where I choose, I'm just sitting out.
Mhm.
Would that be terms for maybe Packers fans to start being like, okay, it's clear you want out, but come on, man, like just take a trade. Like, why are you making it so hard on us? Or
Honestly,
no, that's obviously I was playing devil's advocate on each side, and then I got your response. So
Okay.
that side one, side two, Roger's side is I deserve this. I've given you a championship, a collarbone, and I've given you what is this now? 17 seasons. I've given you my entire career up until this point. For what I have left, the least that you could do is send me to where I want to go. Granted, it is not a place that can hurt you guys, because obviously you aren't trading Rodgers to the Vikings. Of
No.
course, they
well, and I think Rodgers
Cousins.
would understand that. I mean, he's not gonna get that wish. But at the same point,
So seeing those two sides, what's your response?
honestly, I think the Packers, like, they would try to act like they're in power, but they're really not. You know, because option one, you can take your brand new quarterback that you love so much, who's apparently
Love.
the greatest of all time.
Love.
See what I did there?
You get it?
So you can take him and you can ride down the road with him, or you can, like I talked about last week, accept that you made a mistake and go with what you know you have in an MVP. You know, so like, because you don't want to make these decisions on, you know, the smart move to keep an MVP, now you have to make a choice. And if Rodgers doesn't want to play for you, which I wouldn't blame him if he didn't want to, you have the choice to trade him, or you can pay him to have him sit on your bench. So, but you don't get to just choose where you trade him. You can't just ship him off to the Jets and expect to never hear about him again. It ain't going to work like that. I mean, for one, the Packers are going to want something in return, obviously, because Aaron Rodgers' value is very high. So they're going to have to get draft picks or players in return. But it also has to be a place that's going to suit for Aaron. So Aaron has that power of, hey, you know what? This is why I put this in my contract, because I figured you assholes were going to do the same thing that you did to Favre. Granted, Favre is different. I'm not even going there, but
Yeah.
like they shipped him off to the Jets. And I heard a funny story about that because Favre's first
Wasn't he
choice.
about to go to Tampa, right?
See.
Yeah,
So
he's gonna go to Tampa.
Favre's first choice was to go to Tampa. He told his agent to tell Ted Thompson at the time that, hey, I want to go to Tampa. That's who I'm choosing. They went against him.
Rest in peace.
They went against him. Yeah. They went against him and shipped him off to the Jets. Thought that he would kind of just die away with the Jets, whatever. The guy comes back to the Vikings and almost wins a Super Bowl with them. So it's like, you don't have the power to just do whatever you want, you know, and like players have a lot more power in today's league. So if I were Aaron Rodgers, I would kind of almost put on a poker face of, hey, you know what? If you guys don't do kind of what I'm saying or what I think, then I'm going to go because I'm not sitting around so that you guys can have your future. And it's so dumb because they shouldn't be worried so much about the future. They have a great team. How about let's go win a few rings? Worry about the future later. I mean, obviously you don't want to just give away a bunch of draft picks. Oh yeah, here, you get a draft pick, you get a draft pick. But like, you gotta try and win now because otherwise your history and your legacy of, oh, we're 13-time world champions, it's going to be like, nobody's going to care.
Yeah.
Even more so than they do now because it's like, yeah, cool.
If you don't,
we got a banner that says 13-time world champions. Yeah, cool. Pretty soon, every other team in the league is going to have one of those. If you don't win another one,
I'm about to say, if you don't put up any extras for the next 30 to 40
building.
seasons, like someone else is gonna pick up on that. All right, so I'm glad. Yeah, so I'm glad that you kind of went there. I had a point. I forgot it. Let me try to remember. All right. So anyways, when you talked about Rodgers kind of like wanting to protect himself, that's totally fair. And most true Packer fans can understand that. Would say he kind of plays his instrument a little bit too hard and say he's like kind of overly aggressive and he's like just essentially kind of saying fuck you to all these offers of that the Packers are putting out for him.
Mm-hmm.
Can the fans at that point be kind of justified in saying like, dude, like, come on now.
No.
Fuck you, just take a trade.
No. Because why should he? Why should he? I mean, because at that point, if he doesn't want to do it, it's probably because the Packers are trying to do what's best for them. And, you know, they're more concerned about the picks or not facing Rodgers or something like that. It's not actually somewhere that Rodgers wants to go. And Rodgers holds the cards because it's like, all right, then release me. Bite your dead cap space that you will eat, which I don't even know what it would be. Like if it were this year or next, something like that.
It's
like going to be a lot.
23 or something like that.
Well, next year it'd be like 17. This year, yeah, it's like 23, something like that. So it's a lot. So it's like, all right, yeah, cool. Eat your 23. Pay me to not be here. I'll go sign with the Vikings or the Bears or I don't know, the 49ers. I mean, he goes to a team like that and he can walk out the door saying, have fun with your brand new car that you get to pay $2 million a year or whatever it is. Yeah. But I'm going to go win a Super Bowl, which I've been trying to do with you assholes this whole time.
Yeah. And that, I know we've kind of said this in the past, but it just kind of got refreshed in my mind. I was also talking about this with that same listener of the show. That pick that we put on Jordan Love could have been the pick to put us in the Super Bowl. And if we're in the Super Bowl, we are winning the Super Bowl because the Chiefs are so injured. It's kind of the same as the Bucks this season that Toronto won because
Right.
Warriors were so injured. So had we just
Right.
beat Toronto, all we have to face is a beat up, bruised Warriors team, and there's our championship.
One, I mean, the other
There's
thing,
a championship, and that could be 2 championships, one for the Bucks, one for the Packers. But it got folded because of a pick for the future. When if we were in,
I mean, hey,
in
he
now
looked,
mode,
he looked real good in that Packers jumpsuit on the sideline.
yeah,
I mean,
he looked
man,
good in his.
He looked comfortable.
Honestly, I can't even tell you what conference Utah State is in. I think it's the Mountain West
Mountain
because
West, I
I
believe.
saw. Okay. Who you playing over there?
Well, right. And I mean, we talked
playing
about
over
that
there?
last
Yeah.
week. You know, I mean, he just doesn't have the same exposure to these good teams. You know, and the other thing that makes me mad about is kind of just my rant on the Packers organization. The other thing that makes me mad, the guy, meaning Aaron Rodgers, has said on multiple occasions different guys he likes and guys he would like to see around. Tim Boyle, for one, which, side note, very excited to talk to him next week.
Yeah.
Tim
Oh,
Boyle,
that's
for
what next
one.
week?
What do they do?
Oh, that's
What do
next
they
week
do?
already.
Release him.
I forgot about that.
What do? They
go.
release him. He goes to the Lions. Jake Kumro, a guy Aaron said he loved throwing to. What do? Cut him. He's off to the Bills. What are you doing? Like, you can't do anything. Like, okay, you're not going to get any free agents to help him out. You're not going to draft any receivers. You're not going to, like, do anything. Keep his friends, for God's sakes, to make him
Yeah.
happy. Nothing. Even the Bucks. I mean, to be honest, I thought the Bucks kept Thanasis just to make Giannis happy. That's
So did I,
honestly what I
yeah.
thought Thanasis was. But
Yeah, me
getting to
too.
see him play, he can actually play. But it's just like you can't do just the little things to make the guy
Yeah.
happy and feel like he wants to be there and is welcome there. No, you go sign a new first round quarterback that you don't need. And like, just, I mean, are you trying to punch the dude in the jugs or what? Like,
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing over and over again. That was a terrible pick, and we've gone over it. I don't know how many times, but unfortunately,
many.
you kind of have to when every problem they're seeing in the Packers organization kind of circles around that, and it's like he wouldn't feel as if he's this lame talk if you didn't make that fucking draft pick. Like
Right.
you're probably Super Bowl champions if you didn't take that draft pick. Like that draft pick was kind of franchise altering in a sense. Like that is a pretty safe to say that was a franchise altering draft pick, and it could like it was a long shot. I don't know if any of you are in the tables at the casinos, but it's like putting all of your money on a hard 8.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then just throwing the dice.
The one roll, yeah.
Yeah, just the one roll.
Which, I mean,
I got to get.
Hey, you know what?
One roll.
It's yet to be seen. Maybe Jordan Love is that hard 8.
Yeah. Maybe
crossing my fingers. But the chances of that happening for lightning to strike 3 times, not good. But kind of my final, I just can't talk about this anymore. I'm getting a little hot here. So my kind of last football thing that I want to talk about is the 49ers made a huge move to get up to the number 3 pick.
Draft swaps.
Now, I have kind of a hot take here. The Niners are not a rebuilding team. by any means. They were one of the most dominant teams in the league 2 years ago. Last year, they were all banged up, most injured team in the league. Well, this year, they got all those dudes coming back. They're going to be good again. So it's like, who are you moving up for that number 3 pick for? I think the Jets won't screw it up, and they'll take Zach Wilson at 2, so he's not going to be there. And I think if you wanted a quarterback, I don't think Fields is worth going 3. I don't think Lance is worth going 3. And I don't think Mac Jones is worth going 3. So it's like a quarterback seems kind of weird to move up to 3.
Yeah.
Unless you're banking on the Jets screwing that up. So my hot take is I think they're going to trade that number 3 pick to go after either Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, because that's what both those teams have said they want in order to trade those guys. Now, if you're going to try and make a trade with a team in your division for their quarterback, you're going to have to give up a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want Russ, you have to give up the house, basically.
Yeah. Pretty
The
much.
number 3 pick would be a good start.
Yeah. That'd be a pretty solid. That'd be a okay, I won't hang up on you. Keep talking type of a beginning.
Right.
Because the 49ers, they don't need that offensive tackle, Sue Powell. They just signed Trent Williams even more than Bakhtiari got, so I don't need him.
Nope.
You're probably not drafting a receiver for Jimmy,
because you could have got one. You could have got one at 12 where they were at.
Yeah,
they don't need to move up to 3 for that.
And
so it's like, what are you doing? Who are you eyeing?
The two worth it quarterbacks will probably be off the table. Yeah,
well, it's not even saying that Fields, Lance, or Jones aren't worth it quarterbacks. They very well could be.
Yeah, they could turn into something.
You didn't have to move up to 3 to get them. You could have moved up to 7 and gotten one of them. 5
or
like
6.
Why
didn't
3?
They? Yeah, or 6.
Right.
Because obviously
the Eagles were involved with that.
The 3, the 6, and 12 they traded. So now Miami is back up to 6 now.
Right.
Which I mean, to be honest, they'll probably take a receiver.
Yep.
Maybe they'll probably have to find to a weapon. Philly, I don't know what you're trying to do. Trading back to 12. The only thing I can think of is long term. They're looking to like build up those first rounders. So that's a smart decision if you're in full rebuild mode,
which Philly kind of is.
Yeah,
in a sense. Maybe even not full rebuild, but they're kind of a burning ship at this point.
Yeah,
that they need to get back on track.
Yeah, I know that. I mean, I don't even have the draft kind of poured in front of me, but I mean, I think they probably could have found a nice kind of long-term player at 6. That they could have found a receiver to grow alongside Jalen Hurts. They could have, I don't know if they could have done a ton of different things. But the only really logical explanation that I'm thinking of is, okay, we'll trade back because a 6 pick, sure, it's nice, but that won't help us make the playoffs. So we may as well trade back, have a few extra first rounders, and then maybe threaten a contender in like 3 years.
Right.
That's probably the only logical explanation for that. Obviously, it's a safe bet that Miami takes receiver, and then yes, San Fran. I don't know what you're doing. Like you said, I think
Be
that
interesting to see.
could be a pretty plausible tactic to try to be like, hey, you don't want your quarterback. How does this number 3 pick sound?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and I mean,
okay.
you know what?
Now we can talk.
I brought up, Deshaun and Russ as kind of my first 2 options, just because, like they're the quarterbacks kind of in the league where there is still a little bit of unknown on if they're going to stay. I mean, I think both of them at this point are going to, but I don't think either of those teams have stopped receiving calls. But I mean, there's other
I have a
quarterbacks
what
in the
if.
league that could be
I
calling
have a
too.
what if.
What if the 49ers call a pack?
That's what I was about to say. My what if they say, hey, Packers,
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is denying that one.
we will take Rodgers off your hands. Take this 3 pick plus another 2 firsts, and
When you got to think the Packers would like
yeah,
that, because they've already found their next guy. So it's like,
yeah. So it's like, hey, you
they get a number 3 and 2 firsts. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
You got to think Rodgers would be okay with going home.
Yeah, but
I mean,
let's say that's home
and
for
to a
him.
good team.
Yeah,
I mean,
contending team. I mean, it would suck to see him in the red and gold, whatever,
In the Super Bowl playing against the Chiefs. Yeah, that would suck.
crimson, yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, that would really suck. Little rematch of
mean-
49ers Chiefs, and I think it would go a lot differently this time if Rodgers was their quarterback.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah.
Big yikes.
I mean, but if you're a Packers front office, you have to think, okay, yes, that sucks, but business-wise, this number 3 pick could be huge.
Yeah.
Granted, it also doesn't really fill our
I was going to say,
void.
but what does
Because-
that really help us? Because we already got our quarterback, apparently. So it's like,
But say,
who are you
and
going to take at 3?
plus, same as before, we don't need that apparently next big offensive lineman. We just signed ours.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like you could, what? Are you spending that on a receiver to have Jordan Love throw to, and then you really punch Rodgers in the face of, hey, as soon
Oh my
as
God.
we trade you, then we draft a first round receiver? Like how
I can't.
much of a
can't.
punch in the face is
can't.
that?
I can't. I'm going to need you to just give your closing thoughts after. I can't. We got to call it.
Closing thoughts.
Nope. I can't.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember your March 15% off until Friday. That is 15% off. Friday is the last day, and then it's full price. Yeah, but outside of that, thanks for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. And although you're mad, I would still like a quote of the day, bud.
Oh, I got one. So before I give this quote, just want to give my closing thoughts. So, like he said, take advantage of the 15%, because honestly, I don't know when the next one will come around. So don't pay full price if you have to. If you have anything you want changed or anything that you would like to see, let me know. I will do my best to get it up there. Other than that, Tim Boyle next week. We are very excited. If you got any questions
Cannot
that
wait
maybe
for
you'd
that.
like to ask, maybe we could do up a little poll or something on our Insta. Send us some questions that maybe you'd like to ask. Maybe we'll pick one or two from the fans. and choose the best ones. Probably not, but gotta make you guys feel good. But
Why would you
anyways,
say that?
because I'm just so angry right now. I don't even care. I don't care.
Just ruin everybody else's day.
Well, yeah, duh. I'm a human. What do you think?
That's what humans do.
My
I
quote,
guess.
and this is directed at every sports organization, because apparently the Wisconsin ones can't figure it out. From the greatest coach of all time, winning is not everything, but making the effort to win is. So, hey, Wisconsin sports, let's make an effort. Let's get some championships, huh? Let's stop living in the past, please.
I would like
Other
some
than that,
wins.
I apologize. I don't actually mean what I said. I'm just very angry. So, thank you for tuning in. We love you. Tim Boyle next week. Thanks. We'll see you next time.